Y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge. I was perusing the internet the other day, and you know how the internet comes up with things that you need before you know you need them and then shows them to you. It's very disturbing. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Anyway, the internet did one of those, and it popped up. Vevor, the company that sent me the blue Anvil back in the spring, is now producing a cast steel London pattern anvil for $131 here in September 2023, delivered to your house. So let's look at this thing. Well, here it is, straight out of the box. It is that's a London pattern anvil. You know, this is exactly how it came out of the box, except it had some plastic across here, and it's got that rust preventative stuff they spray on everything that comes from overseas on it. We'll have to clean that off, and of course the face will have to be dressed a little bit. The corners, the horn's dressed pretty good. I mean, it's not dressed all the way around, but it's dressed fine. The hardy hole is a lot cleaner than the other Vevor anvils I've gotten. Hardies on the other Vevor anvils I've got have required a lot of cleanup. Had to get in there with a deburring tool and a file and everything. But this one, I mean, it's clean, and like here's a piece of 3/4 stock, and it fits in there perfectly. There's no problems with it. Now I am noticing right now on the bottom of the pritchel hole, there's a little burr down here. Let's look at it. It's clearly drilled out, and there's a burr around it. That's weird because the hardy hole was cast, and this paint, paint is filling the inside of the hardy hole, but the pritchel hole was drilled after the paint was put on because there's no paint in there. 7 7/8 tall. The face is 10 3/8 long and 3.5 wide. But you can tell that this is clearly made for the American market because it is marked 66 pounds, not 30 kilograms. So they have figured out that Americans do not understand the metric system. And I know right now there's some guy sitting there going, I understand the metric system perfectly well. And then there's some snarky European who's sitting there, it's like, oh, Americans not using the metric system. Anyway, both of y'all can suck it. But yeah, this is clearly made for the American market. Let's build an anvil stand. Here's what I got for our anvil stand. I got some 2" by 3" tubing. I think that's 1/8" wall. I've cut them at like 13, 14, maybe 15 degrees. I don't remember. Got some 1/4" stock that's going to be the feet. And then what the anvil sits on is a piece of 10 by 10 1.5" plate. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out where I'm going to put my holes to mount this thing, and then get it slapped together. We're going to rush through most of me building this anvil stand because building the anvil stand isn't the point of this video. So zippy zoo. This is a transfer punch, and this is their size to specific holes, and it makes it to where you can easily transfer from something with the holes drilled in it to something else and not have to worry about the spacing being off even a little bit. And that's what we're going to use to transfer our holes. This is gonna work. Now we can put our legs on. I've never made one of these three-legged stands before. Always wanted one. I looked into it, and apparently the thing to do is fill the legs with sand. So I'm filling my legs with sand. Yeah, that's a lot heavier. Okay, so my initial plan was I was gonna take these flat pieces of flat stock and twist them a little bit, heat them and twist them, but twist the end so it would fit over the base of the anvil better. But honestly, I don't think that's going to be necessary. It's locked in there really good. Now that we got it on the stand, we got to dress the edge. Okay, so we've got the anvil dressed. For those of you who don't know, when you get an anvil, the corners are really too sharp. So you gotta kind of break them and dress them and curve them over just a little bit. So the edges are dressed. We're mounted on our stand. Our stand's good and sturdy. So now we just gotta forge something on it and see how she does. Bushy-tailed. All right, it's the next morning. We are fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed. I got a few things I need to finish up. That's a good opportunity to do that. It's actually the first time I've tested the rebound. anvils I made for the other small anvils will fit in here perfectly. We're going to go ahead and try a spring puller in it. Take something pretty beefy and beat on here. This is a piece of leaf spring that I just need to straighten out. Moves great under the anvil. I don't feel or see any damage to the face. The horn, it feels good, it forged good. Let's take a long look at it. First, let's look at the Achaio 30 kilogram. This is the 66 pound anvil that Vevor just sent me last spring. There are some legitimate complaints about this and then some just goofy complaints about this. Legitimate complaint, the biggest one, is the Pritchell hole is useless. It is in a completely useless spot. A lot of people don't like this style of anvil. It's the pig style of anvil. There's Italian pig anvils and French pig anvils. I believe the reason why these are stamped Achaio is they were trying to copy the Italian pig style. They just didn't figure out that the Pritchell hole needed to be lined up with the face. They got that right on the Harbor Freight anvil, but this one, you know, that's a legitimate complaint. People complain about the style, and it came a lot rougher finish. The horn wasn't finished. The hardy hole wasn't finished well, and a lot of people complained about the blue paint. Just how ridiculous the blue paint is. You can see there's a bigger one in the back that still has the blue paint on it. And those were the things people complained about on these anvils. So they sent those anvils and have been sending those anvils to people for a good while now, to different YouTube channels, and those were the complaints that everybody had about them. The most complaints that people had about them. I mean, they're good cast steel anvils. They have good rebound. Really, the only solid, real complaint is the Pritchell hole. And then you get into some of the forums and the Facebook groups, because, you know, Facebook is just toxic to begin with. But you get into some of the Facebook groups and the shape of the anvil and the blue. That's where the real petty stuff starts coming in. So I think they really paid attention to that feedback. Now, they didn't give me this one. They didn't just send this to me. I saw it and was like, what are they up to? And 131 bucks. I ordered it. It's here in 4 days. What a world we live in. I ordered an anvil and it got here in 4 days. But it's, you know, the London pattern shape. So the Pritchell hole is in the correct spot. The step and cutting plate, that's where I like them. I know most people don't anymore, but sometimes I still use the cutting plate to cut on. I'll probably make a face for this one, but sometimes I cut on the cutting plate on one of their anvils. But just the fact that it's marked in pounds and not just 30 kilograms, I mean, that tells me they're really pushing this one for the American market. It seems like good steel. The other Anvil students have been using it all summer and haven't. I mean, other than a little rust on the side, it's fine. The only flaws I found in this one is when I was grinding it, the casting seemed a little porous right here on the back of the heel. If you look right there, you can see it's just a couple of little porous spots, but I don't think that'll affect performance. And also, just a couple of little things right there where that was cast. But the Hardy hole fits great. The Purchase hole, it's great. It boils down to it. 131 bucks. Delivered by a very unhappy FedEx guy right up here to the shop. This is hard to beat. It's cast steel. So far they're holding up. I mean, if you pay 150 bucks for an Anvil and it lasts you a year, you really ought to be tickled, just because, I mean, it's not what Anvils cost. That hadn't been what Anvils cost in a long time. So I don't know. I know there are issues with the fact that it is Chinese, and a lot of people don't like Chinese products, which I'm not a fan of the Chinese government at all. But quality-wise, you can't complain about this. There's no quality reason. This is not made from Chinesium. It's quality steel. They can make quality products when they want to. So that's it, guys. Pros, the quality is there. The familiarity with that type of anvil. I think Looney Tunes ruined people on thinking that all anvils need to look like London pattern anvils. But there's no complaints quality-wise or cost-wise on this Anvil. If there's something else you want to complain about, yeah, that's you may have a point, but it's a great bargain. So let me know what you think. I think these are a great beginner Anvil. I think they will perform. I think it's a lifetime tool. I really do. I don't see these not lasting. This is not the cast iron stuff that we're used to coming from that area. So anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if you'll give it a shot. And y'all behave yourselves.